You've crossed the Rubicon into the lands of opportunity.
Welcome to the Red Brick Rubicon, the place for the PolyU community to get out of their books for a minute and engage in social activities, make friends, and learn a thing or two from the real world. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Alina, a mechanical engineering student currently in 4th year, and with me I have John in the studio.
Well, thank you, Alina, for inviting me back once again. I'm always happy to represent the ELC in this student project.
Thank you, John. So today we're going to actually talk about something that we kind of touched on in a previous episode. If you remember, we talked about GBUs.
The good, the bad, and the unknown.
That's right. And in that previous episode, we talked about it in the context of social life. But today we're going to talk about it in terms of student services and clubs. How does that sound?
That sounds great. I get a lot of feedback from students that they say they love the PolyU services, but wonder if they can do better. And in fact, I get the same comment on my teaching. John, you're an okay teacher. Can you do better?
Well, then everyone will find this episode very interesting because that's exactly what we're talking about. We have a couple people in studio today, Mabel, Shahrukh, and Ishita, who are going to tell us what they think about the social student services and clubs that they've been involved in. So first up we have Mabel.
Welcome, Mabel.
Thanks for having me. I'm a year 2 occupational therapy student, and I'm raised and born in Hong Kong, actually. But first of all, I have a question. What comes to mind when you're asked to describe Hong Kong?
Well, I think of skylines and buildings. John?
I think of work.
Right, that's probably, one of the images that pops up in many people's heads. But truth is, nearly 40% of Hong Kong is actually protected country parks, like the beautiful Shek O Country Park in the southeast part of Hong Kong Island, and also the Tai Tam Country Park in the
I
eastern
love
corner.
that one.
You've never been
there?
there?
No.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. In the eastern corner of Hong Kong Island. So my good about Hong Kong is the hidden beauty that is unbeknownst to many. And I think that discovering these scenic places can be a great way for us to recharge and unwind.
Wow, so is there any way for us to meet up with people who are going to these scenic places so that we can meet some new people along the way?
Yeah, definitely. In PolyU itself, we have the Excursion and Travel Affairs Association, and it organizes monthly outings to remote spots I've talked about. For example, the Dragon's Back Mountain Ridge Trails in Shek O Country Park.
Sounds great. I'd love to go.
Yeah, me too. That sounds really fun.
Now I know what my students mean when they say, John, take a hike.
Yeah, I think it's time to dust off those hiking boots.
Well, thank you so much, Mabel. Next up, we have Shahrukh. Shahrukh, what do you have for us today?
Thanks for having me. I'm Khan, a final year enterprise engineering with management student, and I agree with Mabel that PolyU's student societies and associations are actually something really good and something really we should be a part of. But there's a darker side to this too. As an international student, I feel like a lot of these societies are very international unfriendly. They're not open to international students being part of their events and they're part of their societies at all. And I felt that in the fact that a lot of their events and their communication and advertisements, marketing are done in Chinese or Cantonese, languages that we international people are not familiar with.
Can I just jump in?
Yes, of course, Ishita.
I actually find it a bit odd, because now I am a part of International Student Association, and a few days back I got an email saying that all the departments and the student-led activities should be conducted in English.
Yeah, that's true. Because as a member of the South Asian Society last year, we also got that email. And that's not only for student associations and unions, that's also for classrooms, for faculties. But obviously that rule is not as enforced as we think it has been.
So I have a question for you, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way because it's a question I ask anybody who comes to me or talks to me about a complaint or a dissatisfaction. I always ask them, did you go to the source? Did you go to the source and in a positive, constructive way try to resolve the issue. So, did you go to the source?
Yeah, obviously. And whenever you go to the faculty or department that's in charge of that student association or union, there's always two kinds of responses that you get. Number one is, oh, bring forward an international friendly cabinet and, vote them in. But obviously that's harder to do, and that's where the entire process is very international and friendly in the fact that it's very hard to get your cabinet not only registered, but make them win. And number two response is that it's just not feasible to take and go through all that hassle for 2 to 3 international students as compared to 70 to 80 local or Chinese students who are a lot more comfortable speaking Chinese or Cantonese and who are a lot more comfortable with interacting with each other. As compared to when you need to include international students, you need to focus a lot on making sure the entire event is in English language. The entire event has dietary restrictions enforced according to different people's dietary restrictions. So all that hassle is unintentionally or intentionally just, these guys like to stay in blissful ignorance where they don't go that extra mile for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that a lot.
Well, you're telling us about these general situations that you felt like this, but is there any specific case that you actually have an example for us?
Yeah, actually, one that I feel very strongly about is the fact that in my entire 4 years, there's this thing in the freshman week that's called orientation camps and orientation days from different faculties, from different societies. And most of these orientation camps are, 2 to 3 day camps, which are residential, which are overnight, and it's a whole 9 yards where they're doing, bonfires, water fights, everything. But in my 4 years, not once have I been a part of it because I've never been invited to this. Why? Because all the advertisement, all the communication for this is once again being done in Chinese.
Well, that's actually really sad to hear, but I mean, do you see any hope for the future? Do you see any improvements, anything?
Yeah. So like John said, it's not only about going to the source, but it's also about taking action to make, accountability for yourself also. So what we've done is that we've been successful in, getting international friendly cabinets elected to these student associations and executive communities. Now they're able to invite us to these orientation camps. There's a few societies whose O camps and orientation days are all in English this time. They have the dietary restrictions, the necessary planning in place to invite us, to involve us in these things. And now that I've been to 1 or 2 of them, I feel like we need to do this more so that people who are coming after us, so say once I graduate, next year the freshmen who come, they get to experience this too.
Well, it's good to hear that. And I think one topic that would be very interesting to explore in a future episode is how much responsibility it is for the local students and local student organizations to even consider international students, because as you mentioned, there's like maybe 1% of us in the whole organization. So that's definitely something we should look at in the future.
Only 1%.
Well, in the student organizations.
Right. How many Canadians?
Definitely less than 1%.
I'm your one Canadian friend. I'm the token.
Yes, actually, I have one international student who's Canadian, but well, just one. So, moving on. Thank you so much, Shahrukh. On the same note as international students, let's head to Ishita, who's going to talk a little bit about our plight.
Hi, I am back again and thank you for inviting me. I am a year 3 student majoring in English and Applied Linguistics. So I don't know if it's a Hong Kong policy or not, but in PolyU, all students have to take mandatory Chinese language course. And I don't think it's necessary, and especially for the non-Chinese speaking students. The thing is, the level we non-Chinese speakers take is too low. It doesn't help much in our daily life. Nor it will help us to get a job. For example, once I told my friends, "Ni baba mama hao ma," to flaunt my Chinese, and
What?
they all laughed.
We don't even use that phrase.
See, that's what I was talking about. Moreover, the class is so strict to get a higher grade. I have to take 2 Chinese class. I already took 1, and it had a huge negative effect on my GPA. I was so distressed the whole semester.
7 years of college down the drain.
I think maybe now you understand the pain that the Chinese students feel when they have to take English classes. Some of them are great, but some of them really resent the fact they're being forced to take English classes.
Yeah, definitely. I am in their shoes now. And the other thing is, as the medium of instruction is in English, I don't find it reasonable to take a Chinese language course. For example, like I'm majoring in English and applied linguistics. Why would I learn Chinese?
Well, I do have one pushback, and that's you mentioned it won't help you with your career, but actually I think having second languages on your CV, even beginner level, it looks really good to people who are in position to hire you. It shows you have a diverse range. You're trying to get into the culture, and you probably are learning a little bit of the culture through the language as well. So I think that you'd be surprised with the value that course has on your CV.
Yeah, I understand, but maybe we can change the setting a bit. We can have a more friendlier environment rather than sitting in a classroom having a teacher giving us grade. Maybe we can make rules like students have to take 30 hours of Chinese learning course in the chat corner to fulfill the Chinese language requirement. That way we won't feel the pressure and we can learn Chinese in a more like casual way.
Sure, getting a Chinese boyfriend would be a casual way.
I mean, yeah, that's an option too.
Yeah, I don't think it's an option for everyone, though. Thank you, Ishita. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, so I want to say something maybe that is unknown to many PolyU students.
Mm-hmm.
So PolyU English Language Center provide many great services for students.
They sure do.
Like Inscribe that John mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
this podcast, The Red Brick Rubicon, and Chat Corner.
So I know a lot about what happens in the ELC services, but for example, they've got speaking assistant programs, writing assistant programs, but I'm not sure about this Chat Corner. Tell me more about that, please.
So Chat Corner is a service provided by English Language Center. I think you can already have an idea from the name itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes. In this case, it's on sofa in an open place, but you will have a roof above your head. So in the chat corner, students can come and talk with the host and other students on different topics, for example, movies, games, food, or even the moody Hong Kong weather. It's really friendly, casual environment, and I love this place. I made many friends from here and got to know many new things.
It's a great space, lots of room, lots of smaller rooms you can book if you want to go and do some studying or sleep. No, of course not sleep. Play board games like you said. I always see students filling up those rooms. It's a great space. Check it out. We should probably put a link on our...
Definitely. You're telling me a lot about this space, but where is this space?
Well, it's on 3rd floor of Acor at SIL. And it's totally free and you don't even have to register for it. You can just walk in during the service hour and have a great time.
It's just down the hallway from our studio, Love's Shadow Studio.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can check it out after this.
Yeah, and you guys should definitely visit there.
Thank you so much, Ishita. So that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you, everyone who was involved. Thank you to Ishita, to Mabel, and to Shahrukh
Thank
for
you.
coming in. And of course, thank you, John.
Pleasure's mine. And I want to thank my hairstylist and wardrobe artist
Yes.
for decking me out.
For those of you who can't see, John has a mohawk right now.
Well, I call it a First Nations haircut.
They took the whole Cherokee Nation, put us on this reservation, took away our ways of life, the tomahawk and the bowie knife. Took away our native tongue and taught their English to our young.